Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Fire Mage, and welcome back to Rimworld Ascension, Take 2, Episode 46. If you enjoy this episode, please remember to like and subscribe, and as always, mod list is down in the description. And with that, let's get on to the episode. Alright, well, picking up where we left off last time, what are my plans for today? Well, as we started last time, we are going to be continuing work on the northern housing areas. We already have 6 houses built here, but we need to build a few more, so we're going to be getting on that today. But on top of that, we also need to actually hook up the power conduits and plumbing to these houses, which is what we're going to start off with. Just like that, and that should do the trick for the plumbing network. Now, on top of connecting all of this up to the plumbing network, I also actually want to increase the amount of water storage. Because right now, the entire colony is running off of one little wooden water tower and one wind pump, which admittedly is enough for now. But eventually, we are going to need more, which is exactly why I am going to be building another wooden water tower over here. And you know what? We'll put it here, because I think that would look quite nice. And then, on top of that, at some point, we will also need to set up some more wind pumps, or proper pumping stations. Now, as for the next set of houses, let's go ahead and get to work laying those out right now. So, the problem here is, obviously, we can't really fit them in too tightly, as I do still want the ability to walk in between all of them. Which means for this northern section, we will need to use the much smaller house design, which will admittedly be slightly less space efficient. And of course, just like these ones, since these are the old blueprints, they will need to be updated to include the concrete. And there we go, the next 3 houses to be built shall be built right there. Oh, and it looks like we have another strange asteroid landing, delivering us more sky steel, and of course, the Arcturian sky eels, but that isn't really something I'm too terribly concerned with right now. And there we go, medicine production is done, which, of course, allows us to make medicine, but also allows us to make the medicine bag, which, as you can see here, increases surgery success chance and tend quality. Of course, we don't have a drug lab set up for that yet, so that will have to wait. But, in line with medicine production, we are also going to now start researching hospital beds. Because as soon as all of the buildings are done up here, one of the first buildings we will be rebuilding is the hospital. So, having the best technology available for that will save us time and resources in the long run. And Sparkles has been recruited to the colony. And Sparkles is going to be one of our 2 crafters and artistes. Very good. So let's go ahead, get Sparkles assigned to do those things. And we can go ahead and now take Skypanese off of that, since Sparkles is only good at that. And Sparkles is also half decent at construction, so they can do that as well. And it looks like they are equipping the Plasteel Spatha. Not the best weapon, seeing as we are now in the age of guns, but if that's what they want, that's what they get. They also can gain expertise, apparently. Very interesting. Well, I think the best plan here is to make Sparkles and German specialize in weaponsmithing and tailoring, respectively. So I think we will start by getting Sparkles on tailoring. Since Sparkles is a lower level, and tailoring is something we are more likely to do than weapon making, it should level up a bit faster, probably. Oh boy, Matiko's Ikawas have returned once again to try and kill us. Lovely. And it looks like they brought quite a handful of war caskets, unfortunately for them. I have an anti-tank gun. Now, we should be able to deal with this relatively easily. They are spawning all the way up there, so we should have a little bit of time to get ready. Maybe. So let's go ahead and immediately start sending everyone to equip some armor. Alright, Scytheman is at the ready. Now all we gotta do is wait for the rocket salvo to fully load. Alright, let's give this a shot. Just everywhere, right around here. Let's go ahead, set forced target, who seems to be pulling ahead. Let's not try to shoot the people with shields. That seems like it would be somewhat counterintuitive. Alright, and there it goes. A barrage of rockets. Let's start targeting the next one right here. Oh, that actually was doing some damage. Okay. Oh, that guy's just got a giant sword. Oh, no. Giant sword, that is certainly something. Alright, looks like the child is down. The anti-tank gun just shot silver on us. Of course it did. Reload, maybe? Oh, and Grunt is down, of course. And I believe, yep, Scytheman is out of ammo. Of course. Okay. So that's a problem. Go ahead, start driving that back inside. I don't want to risk losing it. And Senga is also down. Okay. Blackjack, fall back. Okay, so looks like White is just deciding to run straight through the middle of everyone. That's not ideal. Oh, and it looks like we actually managed to get them to flee. Okay, that's kind of a win. Alright, well, that was barely a victory, but we did win. The anti-tank gun didn't work as well as I wanted to, but it did take out a few of them. So that's good enough. BB, I'm also going to need you to just run in here and start tending. We got a lot of very, very injured people. And unfortunately, most of our good doctors are down. And there we are. Everyone has been tended to. Barely. Unfortunately, Goose did die due to being pretty much shredded by all of our own weapons, unfortunately. But this is an excellent opportunity to not rebuild those machine guns because we are going to be moving the trench network once everyone's healed. Well, while everyone was off recovering in the hospital, it would seem that our constructors who are not down have gone ahead and finished up the next 3 houses. Very nice. And that means we should only need about 4 more, which should be quite doable. And once again, we are somewhat limited in our ability to fit them into our little area, at least if we want to maintain the way everything is currently set up. I think this one will go here. It'll require a little bit of mining, but that should do just fine. Not be too much of a hindrance. And that will allow us to build another house around about here. There we go, and that will be the final 4 that we need to build. And it would seem German has been recruited to the colony by Beller Rose, and that means we now need to haul German into a medical bed. And German can gain an expertise, and as Sparkles has tailoring, German will get weapon smithing. Wonderful. Of course, we still have to wait for German to fully heal, because being a genie means even a minor injury will keep them debilitated for ages, which is not ideal, but we will work with what we got. And there we go. Hospital beds are researched, and given what just happened, I'm sure that will prove to be most useful in the coming episodes once we get them built. Next up, we will be doing autocannon turrets, because, well, as soon as these houses here are finished, the next big project is going to be to completely overhaul our defenses, because clearly that is something that needs to get done. And autocannon turrets are researched, and those will be very useful in the defensive upgrades I am planning. Next up, we will be doing mechanized armor racks, which will allow us to equip our armor even faster, because as we saw in that raid, it was kind of slow. Kind of need the armor equipped quickly, and it was not quick enough. Well, now here's an interesting quest offer. Our friends over in Tusla want 10 heavy SMGs, and they're willing to give us 8 reinforced barrels, or 50 goodwill. 10 heavy submachine guns is quite doable, so I think we will be accepting that. Although, actually, now that I'm looking at this, we could also get an orbital bombardment targeter. Tempting, but the reinforced barrels are more useful because, while I can make reinforced barrels, it does not change the fact that they are stupidly hard to make and take forever. So let's go ahead and get those heavy submachine guns queued up. Gonna need to make 10 of those, and only allow German to craft those. And then we just move that to the top of the list. And German should get to work on those as soon as he's not bedridden. And there we go. Mechanized armor racks are finished. And that means that when we rebuild our armory, we will be able to make the armor able to be equipped much faster. Next up, we will be doing water filtration. Might as well, since we are actually starting to really get into Dub's Bad Hygiene, might as well make sure the water is nice and clean. And there we go. The houses are finished. Now all that's left is to hook them up to the plumbing and power networks. Now, there are a few ways to go about this. Now, I could hook them all up to separate independent systems, but that would be rather inefficient. So what we're going to do instead is very simple. We are going to run a plumbing network all the way around, like so. Let's go ahead and switch to the line tool to make this a little easier on myself. And from here, we are just going to run it in a straight line down to here. And as all of this will be getting deconstructed, we will continue it all the way to this central building and then connect it up to there. Now, that is, of course, just the plumbing network. We still need to hook it up to the power grid, which is, admittedly, somewhat easier, seeing as the geothermal generator is right there. That will make it significantly easier to hook everything up. And there we go. That should get everything hooked up once it's all built. It will, of course, take them a minute, mostly to haul the materials to where they need to be, but once that is done, we will be able to check off the build houses. And it looks like we are able to do our first of the year celebration. Let's go ahead and do that. Expected quality, 97%. I like those odds. And it was a fun Jubilee, giving everyone a nice +5, and a scout named Rivera wishes to join. Let's go ahead and welcome Rivera. What are you good at? You are a child. Oh, but you are a wolfman. Very interesting. One of, if not the first, different species to join the colony. In terms of skills, though, Rivera's not very good. And you know what? Since we're over here, let's go ahead and do the Festival of Family. Once again, 97% expected outcome. And it was a fun festival. Once again, a nice +5 to the mood of the colony. And water filtration is research. That will allow us to make it so our water doesn't give us infections occasionally. Not too sure how that whole system works, but we'll be building that at some point. Next up will be swimming pools. It's a real short project, but if it works, I'm thinking we put a swimming pool back here. If it fits, of course. And there we go. Swimming pools are done. And that might work the way I want it to. But in case it doesn't, we will do hot tubs next. And seeing as we have now researched that, let's see, will it fit? Yes. Yes, it will. Although it won't fit the best. The most symmetrical way to build it will be right here, like that. And let's actually make it out of concrete. There we go. And if that works, it should give us another form of recreation. And there we go. The houses are finished. They are fully plumbed, they are fully powered, and they are fully built. Which means we can check that off, and also we can outright remove it from the list, because I'm leaving this episode off here. We made a lot of good progress. All the houses are done, and now all we gotta do is make sure everyone moves into them. That raid did set us back, but the anti-tank gun did work. Next episode, we're going to be completely revamping our defenses because we just got a bunch of fun stuff, and so we are going to utilize it to our advantage and make some really scary defenses. And as soon as we get that quest done, we'll have reinforced barrels to make all sorts of new anti-tank weaponry. It is sad that Goose died, but it was inevitable. We probably shouldn't be putting children on the front lines, but we did, and we have learned our lesson from that. But we did also get German and Rivera today, so I consider that to be a net positive overall in terms of colonist losses. But with all that said and done, I will see you all in the next episode.